We think the euro can provide us with a great opportunity to bank some pips this week. Stay tuned to this video to find out why. Hey guys, Arnie here from Forex Source, where we help you to trade and understand the currency markets better. Guys, on this channel, we do a lot of educational trading content, specializing in fundamental analysis. So if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Guys, welcome to another week ahead video. Now this week's video will cover the trading week from the 22nd to the 26th of July 2019. Now this week we have two very important upcoming euro events, which will be Flash PMI on Wednesday, as well as the ECB monetary policy meeting on Thursday. Let's go straight to today's video to find out how we can prepare and possibly trade these events. Okay guys, now our main focus point for this week is a possible trading opportunity on the euro. Now, our current fundamental bias on the euro is bearish, given a couple of things. Firstly, the persistently low inflation seen out of the eurozone, as well as deteriorating growth data after the peak of the economic cycle at the end of 2018. And we also had the ECB that has pushed back expectations for interest rate hikes from 2018. And recently, they've taken that option off the table by announcing that they think the EU economy requires further monetary and fiscal stimulus to get growth back on track. Now, recently, the ECB members has made various dovish comments signaling that the ECB is willing to adopt further easy policies, which can take the form of either rate cuts, further QE, and possible fiscal stimulus. Now, the most recent dovish comment that hit the wires on Thursday last week was that the ECB is looking into altering its inflation target of below but close to 2%, which was a very dovish comment indeed. Now, at the moment, markets are pricing in between a 10 basis point and a 20 basis point cut for the ECB in 2019, and some analysts think that the cut can be announced at this week's meeting or at the September ECB meeting. Now, markets are convinced that the ECB will adopt easier monetary policy, but with all the kind of ideas thrown around the last couple of weeks, there is really no way of knowing exactly what further easing measures the ECB will adopt or choose. And in a recent article by ING Investment Bank, they noted that the ECB chief economist Philip Lane clearly pointed out to a package of stimulus rather than a sequence of smaller steps in a recent speech that he had. Now, there is a chance that the ECB does not only commit to one easing measure, but delivers a bolder and bundled stimulus package like referred to by Philip Lane. So that is something just to keep in mind for the meeting this week. The bottom line is, guys, the markets are widely expecting the ECB to either announce immediate stimulus measures this week or prepare the market for new measures to come into play from September or going forward. Now, given the dovish tone taken by the Federal Reserve recently, especially in the last 2 weeks, and given the ECB struggle with low inflation, it will be in the best interest of the ECB to come across as dovish as possible in order to keep a lid on the euro US dollar currency. So it is in their interest to keep the euro as low as possible in order to boost inflation. So that is something just to keep in mind for this week's meeting and for most of the meetings remaining for the rest of 2019. Now, the best case scenario for a trade this week with the ECB meeting would be to look for a sell opportunity given the fundamental bearish outlook for the currency. Apart from the ECB meeting on Thursday, we also have flash PMI numbers coming out on Wednesday. Now, PMI numbers are a very important leading indicator for growth, guys. So that is something that we do need to take note of as well. Make sure that you check the PMI numbers. If we get a big miss on PMI numbers or another miss on PMI numbers, that can be a great opportunity to sell the euro into the ECB meeting. But we do need to be careful. If the ECB decides to come out less dovish than the markets are currently expecting, then we can see a pop high in the euros. So we do just need to be careful of that. Given the already dovish expectations going into the ECB meeting this week, the best chance of a sustained sell on the euro would be if the ECB decides to act aggressively and announce a package of various stimulus measures at this week's meeting, or confirm them for September going forward. Now, if the ECB comes across as indecisive or hesitant to introduce stimulus measures this week or confirm them for September, the market might view that as more hawkish and could possibly result in short-term strength in the euro. Now, we won't really expect that type of strength to last in the long term or the medium to long term, because we are bearish on the euro given all the struggles that the economy is going through, but that is something to keep in mind for the short term. Now that we understand the reason why we're going to be focusing on the euro this week, we can move on to the charts and look at some of the technicals. Now guys, in case that the ECB does announce a new stimulus package this week and they come across overly, more dovish than the markets are expecting, we would expect that to put pressure on the euro, and we could possibly look to pair the euro with something like the yen or the Swiss. The reason for that is with all the concerns about global growth, a possible US recession that might be looming, the continuous challenges regarding the unresolved US-China trade dispute, we think that the yen and the Swiss should remain supported given their safe haven status, at least in the short to medium term. Now, given the possibility of currency intervention by the Swiss National Bank, and we know that Euro Swiss is really flirting with levels where the Swiss has intervened before, the Swiss National Bank, so that is something we do need to take note of. So given that possible chance of intervention by the Swiss National Bank, we would rather go with something like the yen versus the euro as opposed to the Swiss versus the euro. Okay guys, so turning to the charts and looking at the euro yen, we can see from the daily chart that the pair is currently flirting with that 121 handle, which has held as support basically from the middle of May. So this is an important level that we are currently flirting with on the pair. Now, if the ECB does deliver on that overly dovish expectations this week, we can possibly trade the euro yen in two possible ways. Firstly, we could look for a pullback into one of these two interesting selling areas. Now, if I just quickly zoom into the H4, we can see that the first level is between the 38.2% and that 50% fib level, which also has confluence with the 122 handle. And then a little bit higher, we also have the 78.6 fib with this previous resistance area. We can see as well confluence with the 123 handle as well. Now, if we see the pair move back into these two zones, that can provide us with an opportunity to sell the pair, a stop loss just above this recent swing, which is just above the 123.50 level. Now, in terms of a possible target, guys, if we drop back to the daily, a possible target, we can see that there's really no major other support areas until this low from the January yen flash crash at the 118 handle. So if the ECB does come out dovish enough, that can be an interesting level for us to look at in terms of a profit target. The second option is if we don't get a pullback into any one of these two sell zones and the pair just moves sideways until Thursday. If that happens, we could look to jump in at market if the ECB is dovish enough. Alternatively, guys, for a more conservative entry, we could wait for this support area at the 121 handle to fold and then wait for a possible retest of that area and then take a possible sell trade with the same stop loss above the 123.50 and a same profit target close to that 118 as mentioned for the first option.
Guys, thank you for watching this video. Quick question of the day. Do you find these videos helpful in your own trading? If you do, please remember to smash that like button. It really helps us to know which type of content you guys like. Until then, guys, we wish every one of you a profitable trading week ahead, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.